In Ghana where I live, the prices of food has gone up, electricity has gone up, water has gone up, fuel has gone up, and most recently the price of cement has gone up. Now, as if this wasn't enough, the price of the dollar against the cedi has also gone up. We started the year with the dollar about 6 Ghana cedis, but today the dollar is about 9.2 Ghana cedis. And so, if you are starting your building project, you're probably asking yourself, how do I cope? Will I be able to complete my project? And so in this video, I'm going to give you 10 solid tips to help you save money when you are building coming up next. Now do make sure to stay till the end of the video because the 11th tip is a bonus that I believe is going to be of help to everybody. And so with that said, let's get started. The first tip is to make sure you always compare prices. So whether it's the building materials you're buying, blocks, sand, stones, wood, etc. Don't just go to one vendor and purchase from the person, even if it's tiles, anything, lighting, equipment, plumbing, etc. Make sure you compare prices with at least 3, 4, 5 vendors, and it helps you to have an average cost or estimate of how much the material is going to cost. And this is very, very important because if you go to the first person that you meet, the person's price might be twice or 1.5 times more than the next person. So always make sure to compare. Now, comparison doesn't just depend on the materials you are purchasing. Even the laborers that you are going to use, the artisans, make sure you compare quotes from different artisans, whether it's masons, what is their price for laying a single block. If it's tilers, how much do they charge per square meter? Always compare, and it helps you to make an informed decision. Next, when it comes to purchasing of tiles, purchasing of electrical wires and gadgets, always ensure to look out for merchants or shops which are having discount sales. So a lot of the merchants in Ghana, and I believe wherever you are, tend to have discount sales towards major holiday events and seasons, and also in the middle of the year when it's a bit slow down. So be on the lookout for such amazing discounts online or near the shops. Have some contacts that you can call and find out when the next promotion is going to be, and buy all your items during the promotion period. Once you have ascertained that the promotion, what you are getting is real value for money, just go ahead and buy, and you would save money. Now, if you're building like in a developing area, a place where construction is heavily ongoing, right? People are building, you are also building. What you can do sometimes is to reuse some of the materials, or sometimes there are even leftover materials that you can purchase for less. So for example, when I was building, my neighbor had stones and had sand that was left over from the wall that they were building. So I spoke with my neighbor and she was able to give it to me at a very heavily discounted price because she was not going to use it anymore, right? So I paid just a token for the stones and the sand, which I would have gone to pay huge amounts of money for. And also blocks, sometimes blocks get left over, sometimes wood, right? The wood that they use for the door frames and the window frames and the plaster boards. I mean, the boards, not the plaster boards, the boards, the Odum boards and the Wawa boards that they use for the lintel and they use for the pillars and all those. If they finish using it and it's not too bad, you can actually request for it. If they give it to you for free, hooray. If they give it to you as a discount, that is money that you are saving. So if you're in a place where heavy construction is ongoing, look out for some of these things. Be a good neighbor, talk to your neighbors and see what they can give to you. And you also, when you finish using some of these products, you can actually give it to your neighbors or would-be neighbors. The next tip for saving funds when building is to ensure that you negotiate well with your laborers, because 90% of the cost in building doesn't come from the materials you are going to purchase. 90% of them, maybe 90 is an exaggeration, but a good percentage of it comes from the labor cost. My goodness. If you are having masons, for example, who are doing the block work, right? If they are laying about 2,000 blocks, some masons charge about 2 Ghana cedis per block, right? So that's about 4,000 Ghana cedis. So you need to negotiate well with your laborers, because if they decide to come by day, there are two main ways that you can pay your laborers is man hours, right? So they come for 4 hours in a day. An hour is this much, right? So, or a day is this much. Now people will tell you that a mason costs maybe 100 Ghana cedis and the laborer costs maybe 50 or 80 cedis. Others might tell you, more seasoned, construction workers will tell you that a mason will cost maybe 150 cedis or even 200 cedis, and the laborer will cost you 100 Ghana cedis. So you need to negotiate well and find out which of the options is better. I've given you the first option. The next option is, do you calculate the total cost of materials you're going to use for a particular phase, and then you assign the labor cost as a percentage. So let me break it down. Like I said, you are doing your block work, right? You are buying blocks worth 4,000 Ghana cedis. You are buying cement worth 2,000 Ghana cedis. You are buying water worth 1,000 Ghana cedis. So this becomes 8,000 Ghana cedis. And you can say, okay, your labor cost is going to be 10% or 20% of this, and you can use this to help to calculate. If your laborers agree to it, it's a good deal, because regardless of how long they choose to spend building or laying those 1,000 or 2,000 blocks, you don't care, because it's a fixed cost, right? But if you are doing per day, then they can come and a day, instead of laying like a 500 blocks, they might choose to lay 100 blocks a day, because then they are going to come for 10 or 20 days. You understand? So you need to calculate all these and see which one is cheaper, and then you go for it. Now the next tip is to check whether what you want to purchase, do you need it now? Because there are different stages of the building project. We have the foundation, we have the block work, we have the lintel, we have the roofing, and all those, right? So if, let's say, you have done the block work, do you need to do tiles immediately? No. If you don't need it immediately, other material prices are going up, right? Do you need to buy the lighting immediately? If you don't, you can wait till you have completed the block work, because the roof is like one of the things you really need to prevent rains from coming in, breaking your walls, and causing you so much damage, right? So the roof is one of the most critical things that you need, or stages that you need. So if you haven't done the roof, maybe you did the floor, you did the first story, like the ground floor, and you wanted to continue, but before you continued with the first floor, you decided that, oh, let me tile the inside of the ground floor so it will be nice when my friends come, they will see. Let me paint, let me do sliding windows, let me do this, let me put the doors. Sometimes some of these things are not necessary at that particular stage, because you really need to ensure your roof is up so that the rains don't come in and break your blocks, or sometimes they can even soak into the building and make your POP damaged and all those. So ask yourself, at this particular stage, do I need to do this, right? Or can I use the money for something else? Now the next tip is to ensure that you always buy in bulk. Did I say block? Buy in bulk, right? So sometimes the laborers might tell you, oh, for this level or this stage, we need maybe 2,000 pieces of blocks, right? And don't just buy 2,000, maybe buy 2,100 or 2,200. I've experienced it several times, and many others have experienced it, because when you're going to buy those 2,000 pieces of blocks, they're going to be transported from the block factory to your construction site, and you are going to pay for the transportation. And if it is not up to, like, it's not enough to be able to complete that phase, and you need an extra 100, you're almost going to pay the same amount. You're going to pay almost the same amount for transportation of 100 pieces of blocks as you paid for your 1,000 or 2,000 pieces. You understand? So try and always buy a bit more, especially the rate at which our inflation prices are going up, so that if it's not up to, let's say you bought a block at 4.5 Ghana cedis and it took them a month to complete, the next time you're going to buy, the block might be 5 Ghana cedis. Cement, like every 2 weeks, the price of cement either goes up or down, right? So some of these things, just try and buy a bit more, because the laborers sometimes tend to underestimate. And when it happens like that, you're going to waste money on transportation. Now, another thing you can do to save money is to ask for payments in installments. You don't have to make downright or outright payments when you are building, right? So especially with your laborers, you can negotiate with them. Okay, you're doing this for this much, but I'll pay you in 5 months installments. So every month I'll give you this amount, instead of giving the laborer everything at once. Even if they've completed the work, you can choose to still pay them, but pay them in installments. So you delay payments, not unduly, but it helps you to also manage the other parts of your finances. If you have other responsibilities, like you have a home, you have a family, you have rent, etc., it helps you. And even when you buy materials, especially if you are buying in bulk, like iron rods and cement and stuff like that, you can negotiate to pay in installments. And if the merchant agrees to that, hooray. The point number 8 is to ensure you start building today. The best time to build was yesterday. But if you haven't started, the best time to build is now. Because, like I said, when we started the year 2022, the dollar was about 6 Ghana cedis, $1. Today it's almost at 10 Ghana cedis, so almost double. And so if you are waiting because the dollar rate is high, the dollar rate is not going to go back to 5 or 2. It's probably going to go to 20 by the end of the year. We don't know what happened. So start now and start building, right? And I'm here. Everybody is here. The community is here to support and encourage you. Give you the tips, give you the prices of materials. Don't give up. I'm encouraging you. Just build, right? Start now. Start something. And in a year or two, you'll see that you've put up a very beautiful project of your own, right? So start now. Put all the excuses and procrastination reasons, put it aside and start something. Always make sure to supervise your project. Like maybe you are in the diaspora, you are not physically available. If you are not, you can also employ us. We would supervise your project for you. That's one of the services we want to offer. But supervision is key, especially if you are around and you can go and supervise the project. Because if you don't supervise, the tendency to have rework is very high. Sometimes the laborers, you tell them, oh, I want to do like a proper roof. I don't want to do a hidden roof. In their mind, when you were talking, they were hearing hidden roof. So instead of doing like 4 layers of blocks, right? They are doing 5 here, 3 here, 3. And by the time you go, they've done some mess and they'll have to remove some of the blocks. I experienced it personally. Other people have experienced different kinds of rework. Maybe he said, oh, put this door here, put this window here, put this here, do this design. You come, they are doing something else because there's no supervision. So supervising is key, a really, really key, critical component of the building process. And if you don't have the time, send us an email. We'll look at how best to help you. Our email address is in the description below, right below the like button. And if you're enjoying this video, please press the thumbs up, like this video, share so that it will be of good help to others. And if you're new to the channel, why not consider subscribing? Before we move to the next point, the next point is don't take the easy route. Many a times your laborers will tell you, oh, this piece of work, ideally we should use 10 bags of cement, but we can manage and use 5 bags. Please, 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 don't take the easy route. Oh, this one we can use 16mm iron rod. The ideal situation is to use 16mm iron rod, but let's use the 8mm because the 16mm is expensive. The laborers tend to give these kind of excuses. Please, building is a very expensive investment. Don't take the easy route. Don't take the shortcut. Give it the best, right? So that it doesn't break on you, it doesn't collapse after a year or two. Not even just collapsing, but it doesn't begin to fall apart and crack and all these things. It's going to bring you rework, right? We want to avoid rework at all costs. So don't go for the easy route. Always ask, what's the best? What's the next from the best? What's the worst? And make an informed decision. Don't just look at, oh, what's the cheapest? In terms of doors, in terms of windows, in terms of blocks, in terms of cement, what's the cheapest? No. What's the best? Can I afford it? If I can't afford it, what can I do about it? What is the alternative I have? Right? But don't go for the easy route. Finally, if you made it all the way here, leave a comment below that I made it and I am a true African Building Hub community member. Leave a comment below so that we know you, we recognize you, and we appreciate you. The final tip is, please, if you are buying a house, avoid buying a house with a dollar mortgage. I've been talking about dollar rates throughout this video. I was just leading up to this because if you were being paid dollars, that's fine, but most people in Ghana are paid in cedis. And imagine you took a mortgage of $100,000 at the beginning of the year, and you need to be paying back in dollars. At the beginning of the year, the dollar rate was 6 cedis, so it means you'd have been paying back 600,000 Ghana cedis. Today, it's 9.2. So that same $100,000, you're going to pay 920,000 Ghana cedis. And by the end of the year, if it's 20, you're going to pay 2 million for something you were supposed to pay 600,000 for. So kindly consider all these things. and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. Thanks Bebre for watching. Leave your tips below and the best tips will be featured in the community tab as well. Thanks Bebre, and I wish you all the very best in your building project. Cheers.